From Content 360, this is the state of client acquisition.
The biggest one is, I even took a screenshot of it yesterday, and I'll tell you, let me get it quickly. I'm not going to share the screen because that just distracts us, but it is seriously the nicest thing that I think has ever happened, because, you know, when you are in this public domain and you are helping people and you are, essentially changing people's approach, you have a big responsibility, because those people trust you and they follow your advice. So literally here is, let me see what I can share. Slides. Nah, this is too hard. Let me just read it. It's authentic. It is by a guy called Josh Curtis, who's a client of mine. And he says, "I thank the creator every day we found each other, Laura Louise Blatt and Anric Blatt. Seriously, not just blowing smoke. I don't know where I'd be without you all. Where our family would be, I don't like to think about it, honestly." And I tell you, I got a little tearful in that, and not in a Shay Rowbottom kind of, I burnt the toast type of thing, like you wrote, but like in a really sincere way, because there is nothing that anybody can say that has a greater impact. And I think that is a really good segue for us to actually get into the business of testimonials.
Absolutely.
Because
very good segue.
They mean more than you think. They can cause a lot of damage if you do them wrong. They can bore your audience to tears. And if you ask for them prematurely, it's a little bit like trying to go to third base on a date. Yeah, I mean, on a first date, it's kind of weird. But if you don't ask, like I forget to ask, you've lost the opportunity. So like in humor and in sex, timing is everything.
Absolutely. Where did you say that, in which context do you think that they can do a lot of damage?
Well, when you are in let's say you're on a landing page, and you're on a landing page of somebody who's selling a course or a program or something like that. Obviously, you'd think that more is good, but you can really distract your clicker, your window shopper, from clicking the buy or the submit or the sign up button by providing too many esoteric testimonials, because they click all over the place. Then a lot of people will send them to YouTube, and you know how good YouTube is. As soon as you're on YouTube, you ain't coming back, because whatever you were searching for before, like for me, it's at the moment, I'm going through a boat shopping phase. And there is another video of a great new boat that just came out. And hey, listen, 2 hours later, I'm like, what was I doing? And then Laura Louise is screaming at me, and I'm like, oh, no, come here. Gone, sail gone, broken. You know what I mean? Also, sometimes it can feel too cheesy and too kind of made up and too pretentious. So I think you've got to be a little careful with testimonials. I've been experimenting with it, as you saw my kaleidoscope, right? And at first, when you saw it, you gave me some very, very good advice. Number one, you've got to put the titles on there of the people. They can't just be random people, because, I mean, quite frankly, it could be your gardener saying you're a nice guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I got it right. I got one of the names, when you're cutting and pasting the stuff. And obviously, I'm not a video editor. And it is super important that you don't send those type of kaleidoscopes. Do you have it anywhere to show people?
Yes, absolutely. We can look at it.
That it's got to look DIY. If it looks like a beautiful video choreography, it loses credibility, because then it looks, oh, here's another. Because remember, I bring this up on every call, and people are going to sick of it, right? People will do anything for those, right? Okay, encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears. But the important one is confirm the suspicions. You see what I mean? So I changed this, and I just took, like, literally, I said, all right, of these hundreds of testimonials, I'm going to pick my favorite people, because I kind of wanted to honor them too.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I'm just going to let it play on mute.
No, that's the whole point is like
capital raising for a number of years, but nothing like where I'm going to be in the future after taking Anric's course.
I came in contact with Anric Blatt and Lara Louise Blatt, and my world has changed in only 21 days.
I couldn't be happier with the program that he and Lara Louise have put together.
If you are looking to raise funds, rebrand, or
so it's
simply
it's
get out
6
there and
minutes. I
find
would
your target customer.
Wanted to give
let's not
the
show the whole
tactics
thing,
that he
but it's like
taught
in Lara
I really
Louise's
like
program.
about it
Anric
that you are
does an
let me
amazing
just
job.
reduce the volume here.
My
What I really
business
like is that these people are coming in over and over, right? So you can see more of their story as the kaleidoscope unfolds. So that's real nice.
that he goes
yes,
in.
because what I'm trying to do with it is kind of tell a story from my favorite people, because you know, if you see I think you've heard the video at the top of that.
You really must.
I've really had this breakthrough that it's all about the who. And if you don't get the who right, and by that I mean, you know, who do you want to serve? Who do you want to be in business with? Who do you want to help? Who do you feel actually needs your help, right? And translate that down to the level where, like, okay, I've got 12 seats at my dinner table. Who do I want to invite for dinner? And then in the middle of it, there's another one of these crazy, stupid pandemic lockdowns, and you're going to be stuck with those people for 10 days in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Who do I want to have in my house for 10 days? And I really thought about it like this, you know what I mean? And those are the people I picked in my testimonial, because those are the people I like working with. Even the crazy French guy. Yeah, I mean, he's hilarious. He's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, and he's stubborn. And he gives me so much shit. Right. But I love it because it challenges me and my humor comes out and I can have fun with it. And because we do this all day long, you should do it with people you enjoy and that you love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I wanted to paint a story where right down, if you go to the end of it, right? Yeah, just do the last like 10 seconds of it right near the end. Okay.
Absolutely, go do it.
Yeah, you just go to the last like 10 seconds. There.
Go and do it if you're interested in making success of your business.
Go ahead, do it. Absolutely, go do it.
You see what I mean? So I'm like painting the story of like, hey, I know these guys and I found these guys and their course is great. And I love you in the middle of it by a man, right? And all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, so anyway, that's my point. That's how I'm doing testimonials from now onwards.
Yeah. No, I'm putting now the link to this checkout page that I just showed. I'm putting it in the comments so that you can check it out yourself, because that kaleidoscope is really good. It's a very good example of client testimonials that don't bore you to death, because very often these videos, if they stretched out too long, they're like 3, 4, 5 minutes, and they just say about like, oh yeah, the person, in this case, Anric, is great and they helped me so much and so on. It gets repetitive. And that's why this kind of format is very preferable, I think.
And then, as you saw on that link, I'm going to put a whole bunch of written testimonials on it too, because there are some people that just love reading things, right?
Yeah,
so,
it's just here.
I have a cool tool. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know where I put it. I was started on it yesterday. A lot of people love written testimonials. Okay. Where do I send you the link the best, Michelle?
Oh, just do it on WhatsApp. Or you can also share. If you have something to share, you can share it right away.
Oh, in the StreamYard.
Yeah, in StreamYard.
Okay. So there's a link. Okay. But now I got to stop it because it's playing music.
No, I mean you can share. You can share your screen on StreamYard.
Okay. It's amateur hour here. You see what I mean?
There we go.
All right, share my screen. Share screen. There we go. Got too many screens over here with 2 monitors. I'm going to pick that one. Okay, and then I'm going to drag it over there. So tell me if you can see my favorite quote.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. So what I basically did, I just created a collage of like written testimonials. So this is the second way that I use testimonials, where people can very quickly, in a matter of 2 minutes, see and get a feel, a rundown, a caliber, a support, a social proof of hundreds and hundreds of testimonials in the quickest possible way. You see what I mean?
Yeah, and people can stop the video if they want to read one, right?
Yeah,
they will not
totally.
have the chance. Yeah. Awesome.
And there's cool music in the background, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Cool.
So that's the second way I have it.
Mhm.
And then the third way is that I created, let me stop sharing my screen because it gets boring. Stop screen share. The third way that I've done it, I created a playlist on YouTube with the individual testimonials, with a link in the back at the end of the video that leads to the next one. So now when I'm talking to anybody and I'm on a call with a prospective client and he goes, yeah, what the hell do you know about real estate? You're a hedge fund guy. YouTube link, boom, done. From a real estate client that I've helped raise a bucket load of money for his real estate fund. Make sense? So I've got it instantaneously available, almost like my memes. Like you mentioned the subject, I got a meme for that. You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So like if you need to talk and you're going, I'm a trader, I don't have a fund, but I want to raise money. Boom, I've got a testimonial from a trader who I built a big hedge fund for. You see what I mean? So it's instantly there right away. But the interesting thing that's happened, right? And I think she's on the phone here. Laura Louise is not here. She's taking care of her mom at the moment. That people give me a testimonial, but they always mention Laura Louise.
Interesting.
And obviously she's inside some of our courses and she does some of the modules, but there is that thing that people realize that, hey, listen, if you, this might sound weird, if you get into bed with Anric, you get Laura Louise too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because in the middle of the Zoom call, as you see, I've got this open plan office here. In the middle of the Zoom call, Laura Louise will walk in and she'll go, Anric is talking crap. What you need to do is this. You know what I mean? And it's such a nice, authentic way. And it shows up in all of the testimonials. Almost all of them mention Laura Louise by name because they obviously realize that I have a boss and that everybody has an upsell and mine is listening all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel, especially for us, we tend to be, I think, in terms of how we coach our clients, we are quite kind of type A driven personalities. And we, at least me, I don't want to speak for you, but I can sometimes be a little bit harsh in that I say, just do it, you know? And sometimes people have blockages that simply prevent them from just doing it. And for that, it has been very, very beneficial to bring Anna into the program because she has a much more, sort of sensitive approach to people and is a bit more open, although she also kind of pushes them towards discipline and doing the right thing. But she definitely is someone who is more compassionate, let's say, than I am, and kind. So I think that's a very good balance that we strike, and you seem to have that too.
I mean, I'm wrong a lot, and I say sorry a lot. You know what I mean?
You do?
Hello, Louise goes, okay, you're I just, you see, the only word I read in that is anal.
You see anal OGs, right?
Anal OGs. And I'm like, what the hell is that? What
do
is
you see
anal
anal?
OG?
Well, as long as you don't see anal orgies, then we're good.
Oh God.
Good. And now I'm gonna get removed by LinkedIn probably after this.
Absolutely. I mean,
good. Okay, good. But Anric, let's cut the crap. What do you, because you like that saying, what do you recommend to someone who is, let's say, more at the beginning of that journey? Let's say they don't have had many clients yet. They've had a couple and none of them were these breakout successes like with you and Josh. What would you recommend them? How should they approach a customer testimonial strategy? What should they do?
That actually segues into our next week's live session 2, by the way, that if you are giving content away for free and you are helping people and you are doing things and you're investing not only your time and your energy, but your 20-year history of making mistakes and learning and all that. If you're investing all of that, and you're giving it for free to people who are getting value out of it, I actually think that you have the right and the responsibility to ask them for a quick feedback. Because I never did this in the beginning when I started, right? I don't know why, but there's probably a deeper psychological reason, but I never did it. And I should have done it way sooner in the process, because number one, a person who's not prepared to give it to you, right? They are just basically just getting your shit for free.
Mm-hmm.
And a person might give you feedback, right? So, I mean, I've had a bad testimonial. I was going to put a thing of bloopers together where people talk about my singing. Because if you become a client of mine, I call you on your birthday and I sing for you. And apparently it's fucking horrific. You see what I mean? But in that starts a camaraderie, and it's an ice melter that becomes a wonderful relationship. So I would say, and I just did it actually with Dan, who I had a call with just before this. Right at the end of the call, I said, okay, before I go, what do you think? What do you think of the session? What do you think of this presentation? What do you think of my? I built him an absolute kick-ass funnel right underneath this for his new business.
Yeah, don't reveal it. Don't reveal it.
No, I can't, because he's a very, very special guy with lots of skill. And right at the end of it, I said, how was that? So I'm obviously recording the call, and I could take that piece. But he actually features, and it's an interesting thing, he features in the middle of my testimonial kaleidoscope, where he basically goes, everybody needs a Sherpa. And if you need a Sherpa for capital raising, I can think of nobody better, than Anric Blatt, right? And I never asked for that. He just gave that to me. But I think if you've got a course, if you've got a program, even if it's a free course, I think right in the middle, after people have started getting value, you should just ask for it. So I can show you if you like. I can probably bring it up. I actually have a module like that right in the middle of my Crushing It on LinkedIn program, where I teach people how to give, and ask for testimonials and references. And then right after I've taught them that, I said, now it's time for you to give me one. Click here. And I tell you, they are just coming and coming and coming and coming. Because people actually, and this is the big thing, sorry, I'm rambling, but this is the really big point. People actually love to give back, but you've got to let them.
Yeah.
And think of it like that, because so many people out there owe me favors, right? But I'm such a jackass that it's very hard to actually do a favor for me. So therefore, because I'm always like, I want to help you. So it's almost selfish to not let them reciprocate.
Absolutely.
Open up that avenue that's in a very authentic way that says, okay, I think it's time we take our relationship to the next level. So this would be me, how I would write it. I would like to give you a testimonial for working with you. And I would love it. It's not obligatory. I would love it if you gave me one back. And, let's do it in this format. Stop, start, continue. This is a thing I learned from Laura Louise's former financial controller, who unfortunately is no longer here with us. And she was a wonderful, wonderful lady, Lorraine Kimmy. Don't smoke, bad for you. And she had this philosophy of stop, start, continue. So I'm going to give you some feedback in three chapters. Stop doing these things. Start doing those things. And 3, continue doing these things. It's also great for a employee review or anything like that. Because if you just break it into even dealing with teenagers or children. Okay, let's have a quick meeting. 3 segments. First I go, then you go. No, you know what? First you go, then I go. Because guess what? Validate first, fascinate next, right? Always give other people the voice first. So these are the things I want you to stop doing. These are the things I want you to start doing. And these are the things I would love for you to continue doing because you do those really well. And I'm very impressed with those. Then all you have to do is record that, and you've got a great testimonial, because a client of yours is very rarely, I mean, one of my clients once said, oh, I'll give you, instead of a 5-star rating, I'm going to give you a 4.5 because of your communication. And I'm like, what? Oh yeah, you don't answer my emails or my text messages. So I literally spent 20 minutes, that's me, went through every single email, screenshotted it, showed him that I had responded. Every single text message showed that I had responded, and then he apologized. So that brings me into the next segment. Can you go to my LinkedIn profile, Michael?
Yep.
Sure. I want to show people a really cool trick. And even the bloody LinkedIn influencers, they don't do this properly. So whilst Michael's bringing that up, you've got to realize that LinkedIn has really powerful search engine plugins, right? And there is a section on your profile that hardly anybody completes, and nobody does it properly, okay? So you see the gray box where it says providing services, right?
Yeah, let me
this is
just
the
close
problem with
these.
LinkedIn. Everything just pops up all the time.
Yeah, here, this one.
Yeah, click on that, yeah.
Nothing happens when I click on it. There we go.
Yeah. So you can do this very quickly. LinkedIn actually promotes it inside LinkedIn. You write about what you do. Then in those gray boxes, you put in basically your hashtags, and then you can send that out very quickly to 20 people who will give you a star rating, a review rating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, good. Look at that. 16 reviews, 4.9 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's like you're an amazing Uber driver.
No, but I basically emailed like 17 people, and 16 of them immediately responded and gave me a review. Yeah, I mean, and obviously there's the one guy, I don't know, that's him. There we go. That's Larry. Larry decided to stick it to me. But anyway, that's just his personality.
That's great. I haven't seen that.
That shows up on Google results, by the way, on your search engine optimization. So that's a second way that you can get testimonials very quickly that actually add value, not only outside of LinkedIn, but inside of LinkedIn. And it is one of the most unknown areas that you can go and send people to for instant, peer reviews or social proof or business proof or whatever.
But then do you then ask people to do it twice? Because there's the recommendation. Wait, let me share again. There's, on the one hand, there's the recommendations at the bottom of LinkedIn, but also then these reviews that we just looked at. Right. So you have to ask people to do it twice, effectively, right?
No, I mean, I think it's nice to have different kinds of people, but some people just automatically go in there and do it for you. And then the other trick that's absolutely critically important is get screenshots of your recommendations on the bottom of your profile.
Yep.
Take those screenshots and save them. Not only did I use all of those to put in the collage that I did, of the written testimonials, that slides, but some people, one of whom you and I are going to have on a live show on the 24th of February, some people get banned from LinkedIn for being too outspoken or standing up too much against the woke culture that's going on and the cancel culture. So when they get canceled, with it goes your recommendation. So if you did not take a screenshot of that, you're kind of screwed. Yeah, and the screenshots, you should store those up anyway. And by the way, the biggest place that I get shout outs and testimonials is in the comments. So when I create a post and I ask people to go and comment, and I drive traffic to an article, people will say the nicest, sweetest, most sincere things in those comments. And that is one of the best places to go and get your testimonials. But please take screenshots, save them in a place, because they will come in very, very handy for you.
And it's very important that you do it as a screenshot. What you can alternatively do is that on LinkedIn, you can download all your data,
Yeah.
right? There's this function which then does include the testimonials themselves, but they're in spreadsheet format. So it's not, you might as well have written that yourself.
Yeah,
So it's very
exactly.
important that you actually screenshot that, and so that you have the old look and feel in case you get thrown off LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, good. So that is, and I still feel that you're a little bit biased in all of this because you assume already a long, history of providing services. Okay. But many of because you obviously have been in business for a long time and you are very, successful at what you do. What would you really tell to someone who is, let's say, an employee? We both know one person like this. We talked about him the other day, who's just now getting started. He's an employee, has not really had, clients himself, but he wants to get started doing his own thing. Should he just not think about client testimonials at all? Should he just start and get clients without it and then hope that after a while that he will deliver results?
No,
what would you recommend?
I think he should go out right now to people that know him, that have worked with him, that are even inside the same company, and say, hey, listen, do me a favor. And you can do this quite authentically. I'm trying to beef up my LinkedIn profile. I have this crazy crushing it on LinkedIn guy who tells me you need social proof. You need some kind of pats on the back and recommendations. And, quite frankly, have you ever read a bad testimonial? Well, I've given bad ones. And I've received bad ones that were all focused about stupid stuff, right? But you don't need to use them.
Of course.
But most people will say nice things about you if you don't tell them what to say, because that's always, whenever I actually get out and we talk testimonials, somebody says, oh, what do you want me to say? And I'm like, well, I can't say this now because Laura Louise is on the call, but, obviously I want you to tell everybody that I'm really, really handsome and I'm extremely well endowed and all that kind of stuff. And I'm
that's
fantastic in bed. And
super
whatever.
key for testimonials.
Yeah, super. Really helps you sell courses, right? No, obviously I want you to just be honest. And I think this is a good segue. I have recently learned how to give good testimonials.
Oh, go for it.
Most testimonials, even all of the previous ones that I've kind of done, they tend to be like a rambling, right? So it's very hard to, number one, edit and just take a piece out of it. The very best thing that you can do when you have a testimonial is literally take a small piece of paper like that and don't script anything. Write down 1, 2, 3 and focus on 3 things that you appreciate about that person. So let me test this. Okay. So my bromance, love-hate relationship friend, Michael Bohannes, needs more testimonials. So what can I say about a really annoying guy? Well, number 1, discipline. Absolute discipline. Do you know that this guy gets up at 5 o'clock every single morning, that he's got one of these stupid watches that he records every single day to prove his discipline, because he taught me that discipline now equals more freedom in the future. So I really respect that. You can say all that you want. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. The second thing is he really thinks about the stuff that he does. He thinks deeply. He does the research. When he doesn't know, he comes back to you and says, I found out the solution. Try this. Then the third thing is he's super funny and super engaging. And I love the ping backwards and forwards. And quite frankly, the guy just makes LinkedIn so much more fun for me. Anyway, hope you like that. Ciao, bye. So now I've given you 3 things with voice pauses in the middle of it. You can just take one little piece of that and clip it somewhere and use it. It's 100% authentic. I could have gone in about all this blah, blah, blah stuff, but those are the 3 things that came to mind immediately. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think giving testimonials is super important. And just, if you need to do it, start reaching out. So if I was this guy that you're talking about, I would start giving testimonials to other people.
Absolutely. Such a great reminder.
Go horizontally in your organization and start recognizing your peers, and then go down in the organization and go and lift a few people up and bring them up and go, hey, I want to talk to you about, like Laura Louise has the most wonderful story. We should invite her on here one day, about the mailman in a very, very famous hedge fund that she was on the, in the starting phase of, and how she got him his job and how she lifted him up to the point that, they just became really great friends, right? So you need to go and do that with testimonials going down, and then you can go up, but make sure that doesn't look like butt sniffing. You've got to find one or two things about somebody that's on the ladder above you that calls out the one or two things that they really do that had an impact on your career. So once you've done that, you've gone up, you've gone down, and you've gone sideways. You've got the Soli. What does Evan say? Soli in Deo Gloria, all to the praise of God, right?
Soli Deo Gloria.
Yeah, I think that's such a wonderful, wonderful saying.
Yeah, I stole that from him.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing he told me. He seems to be very, very kind of upset when people steal things from him. He's trying to get Josh assassinated right now. Anyway, so that really helps, because once you start putting it out there, you will find that so many people will come and reciprocate and say nice things about you. Even not the person that got the testimonial from you. You see what I mean? Somebody else will watch what you're doing and come and say, hey, you know what? I like that. Let me give you one.
I think it's really important, though, that I think it's a great reminder, but it's very important that you don't just do it when you need the testimonials. That should be something you do as a matter of course.
Yeah.
Like I regularly, and I have not done this in a long time. Now that you say this, I see I have to do this again. That whenever you've worked with someone, even in an unpaid way, you just shoot them a friendly testimonial on LinkedIn, for example. Yeah. It only creates goodwill. It costs you very little, and just do it as a matter of course. And I think the proof is also in the ratio on LinkedIn of testimonials given, recommendations given versus received. Somebody actually once remarked, and that's where I got the idea from. He gave me, I asked him it wasn't necessarily feedback. We were having more or less a sales call, and he then gave me a couple of good points. Hey, let me give you some feedback on your approach because I really liked it, but I'm not going to be a client. And he told me one of the things that I noticed about your profile was that you have given more recommendations than you've received. So you're a generous person. And that stuck with me, because I feel that very often whenever I see that people struggle to get testimonials, I look at their testimonials that they have given on LinkedIn and there's none. So it is really a give and you shall receive kind of situation. So it's a great reminder.
Yeah. And not necessarily from the same people. I mean, I have like one for one, but they're not all the same people. Somebody will watch and see that, hey, you just did that, and then they'll realize, hey, wow, that's a really nice person. Then I have a couple of other tricks up my sleeve. So one of them that I do when I'm doing a training event, right, and I'm in a Zoom environment with my Crushing It on LinkedIn students or a capital raising thing. My system that invited you to this event in the first place, in the middle of the event, right about now, it's going to send you an email saying, hey, thanks for turning up, because I really appreciate people who take action. And, by reply email, without thinking about it, tell me what you loved about the event. Tell me what you didn't like. Tell me of what you think I should continue doing, because your feedback is super valuable for me. The really good ones of those, I will go, you know what? I'm going to tag your ass on LinkedIn where you can go say that again. And then people will do it gladly, because I'm giving them an opportunity to come back and respond.
But that I recently received a DM on LinkedIn where somebody just gave me unsolicited praise on how my system works for them. And it's just one of the free assets that I provide. I feel a little bit icky of just taking that and posting it on LinkedIn, because after all, it's a DM. It's a private communication.
So I'm a little outspoken, so people kind of expect that. So I always go, that's just super sweet of you. Can I screenshot that or would you mind putting that into a formal testimonial for me? So people
That
will
I
either
know,
go,
but isn't that trying to, it's for me, I thought of course about that, but it does feel a little bit like trying to get to third base too soon.
nah.
Because after all, they're in my funnel, they're sort of in my pot. They have used my lead magnet, which is like a 3-day mini course on get yourself a lead in the next 72 hours. And they're in it now. They gotten themselves a great lead, not yet a client. And he told me great stuff. Getting to them now already and saying, hey, can I screenshot this and use it? It feels a bit cheap, to be honest.
Yeah,
right?
Maybe the relationship is a little too early. I mean,
Yeah.
I normally kind of, when people give me testimonials, they've been abused by me somewhere in some kind of Zoom session, or I put them in a hot seat, and
or you abuse them by singing to them on the phone. Yeah,
that's it. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I do normally wait on that. And then the other thing that I do when I'm in a event, lately I started doing that. I will tag you in the comments with an introduction of your headline. And then I will ask you to see if you want to come back and respond to that. You see what I mean? So that is itself driving a massive amount of further social proof and social evidence.
Yeah.
So, I've got all sorts of tricks up my sleeve, but they're not manipulative or kind of mean. They're just like, hey, you know what? We're here to help each other, and I want to help you, and you help me, and we're all going to stand up against the censorship media, and we're all going to stand up against the big investment banks. We're going to go throw some rocks together.
Rocks, exactly, at our enemies.
Get into trouble. So it builds a camaraderie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it works. It works great.
Okay, but I don't want to let you off the hook in one way. Namely, let me share my screen again. This was the poll that I ran. And I specifically asked people what kind of client testimonial is compelling to you, what makes you seriously consider working with a service provider, not what do you prefer that people give you as a service provider, as a testimonial. Uh-huh. And of course, everybody prefers the goat sacrifice on the altar. That was the main thing that people clicked. But of course,
you made that way too easy.
It's relatively rare to come by anyone who would actually do that. I wonder how many goat sacrifice videos you've received, Anric, although you are getting these rave reviews. I would not be surprised if you got them. But the one thing that otherwise stands out after the GOAT is client interview videos got more votes than short videos of praise.
That's because, a little bit... Yeah, that's because all the C's would have voted A.
All the what?
All the C's. All the goats would have gone with a short video of praise.
Yeah, no. That's a hypothesis that needs to be proven. Much more likely is an equal distribution. But here's the thing. I totally get it where your reluctance of this comes from, because you have a short attention span. You don't like to watch that. However, and here's that thing that has worked really, really well for me. So that is kind of I'm going to contribute that into the conversation, is having a 20-minute conversation where you speak to someone and you ask them, how was it working with me? You focus on, what was your situation before we met? How was it working with me? What stood out? What was a surprise? What didn't you think that you would learn? And so on. These kind of, light bulb moments. And then, where are you now? What is the change, right? These things need to be clearly delineated. It's about the transformation. And that video is so beneficial because by frequently asking them follow-up questions, you get them to reveal things that you didn't know that were not on the agenda. You didn't expect that. And every time I do a call like this, and I keep them to 15, 20 minutes, they don't have to be super long. Every time you do a call like this, you hear unexpected feedback. And why I think you see it in the poll, people do like that. And why? I think number one is because they really get to know the person. The reel that you did, your kaleidoscope, is great. But if I really want to know, okay, what does this person do? What does Rob Napolitano even do? Right? I don't know that from your reel. I would have to go look for it. If, however, I see, if you did a long interview with Rob, where you say, okay, Rob, where were you? How was your situation before we met? and then you talk him through that. You could then condense it into a highlight as well. And this is what I did here. Let me quickly show you this. This is my first proper real success story testimonial that I got in November 2020. I was super chuffed because Dana just came in, implemented, and within a few days, she got herself a client. It was such a great thing. And look here, this video has the highlights. That is only 7 minutes long, right? 8 minutes. And then here, this is the full video, just so that people see that I'm not bullshitting, that I'm not splicing together words. They see the whole video. So, and here's really the highlights where she gives like the nuggets of working with me. I cannot tell you how much this has helped me, mainly in the area of confidence. Hey, my shit actually works. And then approaching people with like fully knowing that if they kind of wonder, hey, does this guy know what he's talking about? That I finally have this one story of someone who has had unmitigated success with my method. And I think when you, final point on this, when you said how to give a client testimonial, what you said was great. But one idea that you could also do is a transformation. And that is now what I'm going to be giving you. Because before I met you, Anric, I think I was being a little bit too boring. I was just being very much about this content marketing and this is how you do it and so on. And with you, I've learned to let go a little bit, to be a bit more fun. When you send me those altered profile pictures, my first thought was, well, I cannot do this. I'm not going to be taken seriously. And now I enjoy it. And I'm very confident that with you helping me with kind of loosening up a little bit to let my hair down, the non-existent one, that with that, I started to having much more fun. I had a really good January. I'm definitely giving you the lion's share of the credit of that because I'm just having much more fun. And that has been a really key transformation for me because I think one of your main appeals that you have to people is because you're gregarious, you're outgoing, you're putting outrageous memes, you're putting crazy pictures that you alter. You're very good technically. You can like whip up a GIF with like this personalized, that's excellent. Those are things that I also learned from you. But I think the main thing is people want to be around others who are fun. And you are fun. And this is one of the main reasons why I enjoy working with you, is because you're fun to be around. And I believe that this is what I've absorbed from you. And I'm also now a little bit more fun. Probably not as much as you, but definitely more. And so this kind of testimonial, I think, is key because people are always looking for a transformation. They want to change who they are. They want to change their results. And if you show that this person has helped me to become a better version of myself, that is then what triggers them emotionally. Because otherwise, oh yeah, Anric is great. I'm not dissing that whatsoever. I think we need all of these kind of testimonials. And when you look at let me just quickly show my testimonials page. Whilst
you're finding that, obviously Evan Thompson is trolling you in the chat, talking about your gray shirt versus my much more interesting flowery shirt, right?
Yeah. That's exactly it. But there you see, I have these this is another interview that I did. And that's a photo of written, another written one. This is another interview. This one is a video where Richard just gave me, praise. This is like the Anric style video and so on. So I have all of it. And I think all of these formats are perfectly valid. For me personally, I feel that the transformation one, the interview one, is the one that will hook people most. That's kind of my impression.
I'm thinking about it. I'm trying not to be a jerk because that just comes way too natural. Like I will never watch one of those because it's boring. Number one. Number two, for me, I find that certainly my exchanges with my clients are so. Just stop the screen share again there, quick. As you can tell, I have the ability to only concentrate on one thing at one time. confidentiality and the relationship that's in with my client is so big that I can't really spill the beans on that. And the challenge with that is that I almost, this is a little conflicting. I almost want to be the guy behind the curtain, because it's in the very aspect of what I teach people, how to build these personas. It's off the screen, by focusing on their who and their identity and really bringing that out as to who they want to attract. If I'm on video recording one of those type sessions, it almost takes away from them, because authenticity, there is no try, there is only do. And it's really one of the big things that I preach and I teach and I do. So for me, it's very easy, because this is me, and you will see it comes across sometimes. I get grouchy and miserable as hell, and I get snappy, and occasionally I'll jab at somebody. There was one person today doing a beautiful, beautiful piece of art in reference of Black History Month and George Floyd. And I'm like, that person does not need any more monuments. Why don't you make one for the police instead? You know what I mean? So that's me not being fun. That's me being straight up. And I always say authenticity plus lack of time, if you're in a hurry, is a bad combination. But so the authenticity part, I think you have to go do what is good for you. And if your audience, right, if I was selling into the German market, right, I mean, just pick up a German newspaper and you see it's the quickest way to fall asleep, right? There's no pictures, there's no memes, it's just text and more text and more text and more text. And if that's your audience, give them a testimonial that works for them. For me, a 12-second clip where somebody goes, this man changed my life, to me is worth gold. And if somebody's going to watch a 20-minute interview that I'm doing with a client of mine, those people are probably, this is my opinion, this is not a fact, is going to fall into the line of the free tire kickers, the people who just want to watch your free content, pick up the tidbits and the golden nuggets and the great advice that you gave that person, take it, make it their own. I mean, I have a couple of guys like that on LinkedIn, like Jeb Altonga or something like that. I blocked him yesterday. There's a guy who just copies all my shit. And then I'm like, hey, that's an Anricism. And you got that out of one of my videos. And then I've got, some other person who I don't want to out on the call here, who's constantly repeating my messages, except she's much prettier than me and, walks on the beach and gives these speeches. You see what I mean? So it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. But then again, I don't like LinkedIn Lives either. And look at me here. I am in your
look at you. This is like your 7th by now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. No, I think the synthesis of all of this is do multiple formats. That's one thing, because many people prefer different things. There was one person on the poll who said they're not going to watch any video. They just want text. And when I asked them, well, but that could be faked, he said, well, if it's via, like, let's say LinkedIn recommendations or Google recommendations, it's really difficult to fake that. So that's one thing. I'm still not sure if I agree, because you could still create a fake screenshot of somebody recommending you in LinkedIn and so on, then it's not there, whatever. My personal preference, because I also like to see the emotion. And in your reel, that was good because people show genuine emotion. In that one video that I have with Liz on my website, she just came off her first call where she closed someone with my method. And she was like gushing. She was, oh my God, I'm so grateful, and so on. Those are the moments I want to capture. That is why video is so good. And very often it helps people to have these interview style testimonials, because you can ask them the right questions. They sometimes don't know what they should say on these self-recorded videos.
Yeah.
So it's really each to their own. I have all of these formats. I think if you are looking to build up your testimonial database, I think what you said, Anric, was excellent. This kind of just give, and do it casually. Just go through. If you're only starting out and you have a couple of friends who you can tell that you're starting a new business, just go to them and ask them, hey, could we just do a quick recording? Could you tell a couple of nice things because I'm starting a business? That would really help me. And I think if you just do that, send a couple of emails as well to people who have a good opinion of you, you should never have to start a business without any positive testimonials or at least character references that people are willing to vouch for you.
And one of the greatest things that you can do, by the way, is if you have a friend or somebody in business who's launching a new product, or they're launching a new company, or they have a new job, you just ping them a little message through LinkedIn Messenger and you go, hey, congratulations. I think this is super, super amazing. Would you be keen on a quick Zoom call, 11 minutes long, and I will just interview you real quickly and ask you some questions about your new business and about your new product. And then something amazing happens. It's basically you jump on a Zoom call like this, you hit the record button. It is the quickest way to produce video. And you basically just ask that person, you go, okay, so Michael, tell me real quick about this new product, because, and then you listen to it and you cut them off. And in my style, I would go, yeah, nobody cares about, this is a wonderful quotation by Laura Louise again. Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. Okay. It's a very, very powerful statement. And when entrepreneurs come out and they start launching, let's say this, they talk about the what, and they talk about all the cool stuff, and it's got the noise canceling, and now I can't hear you anymore. Nobody cares about your what until they find your who that you wish to serve and why you want to serve them and what your superpower is. And by you bringing that out in that person that you're interviewing them, it is literally the greatest gift that you can give them, because it will bring it forth. And that person will always reciprocate. I've got a 10 out of 10 success rate on that one. They will reciprocate and they will go, thank you very much, Anric. I really do appreciate that. And I see you and I see what you're doing and I see how you're always helping people. And you know what? It's because of your video on this and this and this that I decided to launch this product. And that is gold. That is absolute solid gold.
Amazing.
And
I love it.
even if they don't respond, you still did a good thing, and you'll feel better waking up the next morning about your tribe and your audience.
Absolutely.
So, if you see Frank Prendergast's comments down below, he doesn't like our stuff, right?
No. He says he's enjoying the back and forth on all things marketing.
Yeah, but let's invite him to our discussion that we're going to have on the 24th.
Exactly. Totally, Frank. You should join.
Cancel culture, wokeism, diversity, inclusion, all of these things. But it is about our businesses, because this is the biggest subject that's going to affect our businesses. And if we don't talk about it, we're like the stupid ostriches that put our head in the sand. And as grown-ups, we should be able to debate and should be able to disagree and still be friends afterwards.
Absolutely. And I think Frank shows this because he's perfectly happily conversing with us. He's here, he's commenting, so he seems to not agree, but that doesn't matter. We can talk things out. That's how it should be.
Yeah,
okay.
No, I like Frank. He does good LinkedIn.
Absolutely. All right. We're out of time. Just quickly want to see if anybody has a question that we should answer. Just quickly pop it in the comments. Thank you so much for joining. And if nothing will come up in the next few seconds, we are going to say goodbye. Thank you so much, Anric, for all these tips. It's super important that we record these. It's super important because you are just, brimming with ideas, with great tips for people, how they can just quickly get started, get a couple of friendly testimonials. And I think it was great.
Okay. No, well, thank you for the invitation. And thank you for letting me play with my new watch.
Awesome. There we go. Casio for the win, sirs.
All right, guys. Bye.
Ciao. Bye. The State of Client Acquisition is a Content 360 production. Music by Gavin Knox-Grant. To sign up for alerts and to submit written and audio questions, go to stateofclientacquisition.com.
Montreal girls in the